Hello and welcome to Paraversal Universe, where all paranormal perspectives apply. Join paranormal historian Kevin Malik and physical psychic medium Jennifer Salem as they navigate us through the different categories of the unknown and unexplained. Including ghosts and haunted places, cryptozoology, aliens, UFOs, theology, metaphysics, and conspiracy theories, with a top analysis from the experts of these disciplines. If it's amazing, or unusual, or even mysterious, if it's bizarre, creepy, and fantastic, if it's unbelievable, paranormal, or supernatural, it's Paraversal Universe Radio. Here are your hosts, Kevin and Jennifer, with Paraversal Universe Radio.
Hello everyone, welcome to Paraversal Universe, where all paranormal perspectives apply. I'm Kevin Malik along with Jennifer Salem. Tonight we're going to be discussing witches and ghosts, and historic haunted Salem, Massachusetts. And speaking of haunted Salem, our guest this evening goes by the name of Haunted Salem in our Paraversal Universe. Her name is Christina Corsetti. She is a paralogian, a paranormal historian, and a talk show host of Beyond the Grave Radio, heard every Friday evening at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on the Paranormal King Radio Network. Please welcome Christina Corsetti, or Haunted Salem, as she's known in our world. How are you doing this evening?
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Great. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you for agreeing to come on the show. We've been looking forward to this all week long.
That's awesome.
And for our listeners who don't know, her show, Beyond the Grave, comes on after our show.
Yep.
And if you haven't heard it, you need to listen to it, because if you don't, you will be missing out on one heck of a good show.
Thanks.
It is perfect for a Friday night. It's I like her.
Yes, tonight's show is about dreams and their meanings, so got a lot of information on that tonight.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, what is Salem's population?
Salem's population, I would say about 40,000. I mean, I'm not really too sure on the exact number.
Right. I just give us a kind of general idea of how many people live there. First of all, let's start with you and
Okay.
who you are. Can you give us a
Sure.
bio?
Well, hello. My name's Christina Corsetti, but everyone calls me Haunted. I was born and raised in Beverly, Mass. Living in Salem for many years, and I graduated Salem High School. I've spent my entire life fascinated and interested in the paranormal. I created Haunted Salem about 7 years ago to give my fans interesting and educational information on the paranormal, as well as cool graphics and some adult humor that I like to post. Um, but my Facebook page, it features ghosts, hauntings, haunted places, the occult, strange and bizarre to unsolved mysteries, even UFO cases. So I do a lot of Salem's haunted history, and I do follow Wiccan for a lot of my fans are, so I like to post a lot of things for them. But people contact me on a daily basis to ask me for advice and help, and I never and will never turn anyone away. I'll help you as best as I can to my ability. And it's sad though because recently Facebook has shut me off about 4 to 5 times already, and I lost pretty much 7 years of information.
Oh, that's
5,000
horrible.
fans and 45. I had 45,000 posts, I believe. It's
Oh,
not more, and I lost everything. And I had to start over again, and try and you know build everything up. And then they shut me off again, and they did that 4 times. So now what they did was the other day I wasn't able to get into my site unless I confirmed my real name. So right now Haunted Salem has my real name with Haunted Salem under it because they were going to shut me off. They wanted to see my license. So we're having a little difficulty there, but I didn't want to lose who I had already. So I just left it, changed it and left it alone for now. But that's what happened to me. And it's hard. It's hard trying to get 5,000 fans back. It really is. But I also have a website. It's mysteriesofhauntedsalem.com. And there you'll find the same articles and the same information that you would on my Facebook page. I do have my own paranormal investigation team, SPOT, Strategic Paranormal Operations Team.
very
It
cool.
consists of Corey Thibodeau, who's my lead investigator, Rachel Sawyer, who's my case manager, Stefan Temke, who does all the evidence review, and we just added Leon Martin for my tech manager. So if there's anyone local out there, who needs any investigation done, or you have pictures that you want analyzed, or even have any questions, please contact me on Facebook, or my email is hauntedsalem2772@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to help anyone.
This is so sweet because we've wanted to do a show on the witch trials of Salem. And,
Oh, sure.
And just the history of Salem, Massachusetts. And so when you came to our network, it was a no-brainer. Because, by the way, I love your articles too.
Oh, thank you very much.
The ones I see them on Facebook and I love them. They're very good. You do good research.
Thank you.
Oh, hurry up.
That's right. I do it. I do it because I love to do it, and I get a lot of feedback all the time, and I do get a lot of questions, and people want me to analyze their dreams, their pictures, and I have connections to where I can get them sent to and help in those ways. So. But it's great being on the Paranormal King Radio Network. Tonight will be my 7th show. I had a couple of rocky shows, trying to get used to the program. But hopefully going forward, we'll just nail them.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone has tech issues once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a few a few shows we started out too were bumpy on our end, so we hear you. It's just a matter of getting used to the way the equipment works.
Exactly, and it's all trial and error. And once you can get it going, you're sure to just fly through them, every week. So, but I do have a lot of admins. I am admin of many groups and pages. So not only do I do my own site, I do a lot of other sites too, and post to their pages and their groups as well. And I also work hand in hand with the owner of the Horror Channel.
Awesome.
So I created all the work with the Horror Channel on Facebook, and I created the Tumblr, and I've created the Twitter, and I have many, many articles of all horror and trivia and things like that I do for him. So, I'm very, very busy. Very, very, and it just, it just keeps getting more and more as I go, and now I got the show. So, it's just another added piece to it, and I love it. I love doing this. It's what I do. I'm
So,
trying to get the rights to my name. I am trying to do that. So, I mean, I am trying to do everything to move forward and see if I can get the rights to my name. I can start making things for Haunted Salem. You know what I mean?
Right.
yeah, that would be
So
awesome. With all the work
it
you
would.
do, that would be complete. That would be amazing.
I started an idea that I wanted to make a magazine, and that's where the whole thing came from. And I was like, well, I can't make a magazine if I don't have the rights to the name. I can't do it. And then I'm trying to work on that. But when I do get that, I was going to make a ghostly magazine, and walk around Salem and pretty much give them out, the first couple of weeks, and then very couple bucks a magazine or something like that. No big deal. And then I'm in the process of writing a book. So,
Ooh.
Oh,
yeah,
congratulations!
I have a WordPress program that has all my articles in it, and I got some connections that's going to help me with my book.
That's
So,
sweet.
We wish you the best of luck with your book. By the way,
thank you very much.
that's awesome.
It is. So I mean that's pretty much it's pretty much what I do and what I have, and
So, what got you into the paranormal?
you know what? I've always been fascinated with it. I mean, I've had experiences when I was young, but I've just, for some reason, it just stuck with me. And I mean, I believe 100% in the afterlife, 100% in the paranormal. And, through what I've seen through my investigations and seen what I could banish alone and help children. Children, these families, they needed help and their kids were having problems. And when we went in there and did our investigations and was able to clear the problem and have them live normal after that, it's amazing. You know what I mean? It's amazing that you can help them. And I don't charge anything at all for my investigations, free of charge always. And it's something I love to do, and it's something I've always been interested in from a young age. So, one day, I guess when you're not allowed to do something, makes you want to do something. It makes you want to do it. You know what I mean? If you're not allowed to do
Yes.
something, you want to do it. Well, I was with a boyfriend of mine for 8 years, and honestly, and I don't know why, I was not allowed to have Facebook. Was not allowed to have Facebook. Don't know why. Didn't want me on it. So guess what I had to do?
You're on Facebook.
I had to create a Facebook page, and guess what I created? I created Haunted Salem. From that, not being able to have it, to now being 7 years into Haunted Salem. So that's where it started from. It started from just that, basically.
Were you able to get most of your friends back?
No, nope. I literally, when I had 5,000 fans, as soon as I hit that 5,000 mark, Facebook turned it into a page, and I don't want it into a page. I want it on a site. Don't ask me why. I don't want that page. So I had to start over again, and then they kept saying that Haunted Salem is not your real name, and that violates Facebook policy, and you have to change it. And they kept shutting me out of my account. And this last time I have Haunted Salem, they left me alone for, I'd say, a year. Because I have 2013, 2014 on this new site. So for a whole entire year, they left me alone till now. Then they finally got me again, and they says, no, either you show us that your real name is Haunted Salem by your license, or you need to change it to your real name. So I had to change it to my real name. But I only have, honestly, I'm not even sure if I have 1,000 on there right now. I still 4,000 away.
Wow. So that's only
I
one
lost it,
fifth.
and people think I deleted them. People, honestly, I had people come back to me and says, "Where did you go? You deleted me." I said, "I would never delete anybody. Never. This is what happened to me." And I explained what happened, and they're like, "Wow, I can't believe that." And I said, "Yeah, but people," and I still go to my old page because I'm still able to go to my old page with my old email account. And I kind of keep posting my new Haunted Salem site on it to see if people, will come back to me. And I'm still short 4,000. It's a
Wow.
big blow.
Yeah, we know a investigator in a group that's also in Wisconsin, and she's having the same problem.
Yeah.
And it's
Same exact
went through
problem?
this.
Yeah, that she calls herself was called she called herself Naoka the Jungle Girl,
Okay.
and so they did the same thing to her that they pretty much did to you.
And
No,
So
they,
same
she's
thing.
had right, so she's had to change it from that name to Jane Snow. So because
They'll take out Jane Snow, but they won't take the name that she's been using and she's been published under and everything. And
wow. See, that's right, though. I don't see why they can't just leave us alone. We're not bothering anybody. And if you look, honestly, everybody has a name that violates Facebook policy. You know what I mean? Everybody does. So what, are they going to hit everybody up? Or they're just getting around like I'm just happen to be the ones that just got
I think
hit up?
what it is
or
someone's
reporting
reporting
me.
you.
It's either someone's reporting me. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is.
So I have someone in my fan base that's reporting me about my name.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to say it. That's 100%. I can't.
No, I know.
But that would be my guess. I mean, because I have friends that I've made that, like you said, obviously that's not their name. Some of them still have like the name of their team and stuff,
Yeah.
and they haven't been touched. So I would think,
What?
and then like in your case, you've been they've gotten you 5 times.
About 5 times, yeah, they did. Yeah.
So
So I don't know if they have it out for me. I don't know.
no, it's just Facebook being Facebook.
Yeah, but I don't see why you can't just have any name you want. It's not hurting anybody,
right.
But I guess rules are rules. I mean,
Make a set of
Oh,
rules and just
that's where
leave
to
it at
go.
that. I know. It's like, how many laws do we need?
I know. Yeah, right.
So, are you a witch?
I do dabble. I don't consider myself a witch, even though I do follow Wiccan, and I do dabble, but I don't sit here and claim that I am,
Okay.
So, but I dabble.
Do you do ghost hunting? If so, who do you go out with?
I do investigations, and I go out with my team. And anybody, I have a group called the Haunted Crew. It's called Haunted's Crew, and there's probably about 300 people in it. And I tell them, anyone local who wants to come out on an investigation, I have no problem with that. Come and join us. You go out with my team. We'll go places. We've been to the Bridgewater Triangle. It's a whole area. There's a lot going on there too. I mean, we went there, went to Taunton State Hospital, and we haven't. And then the winter happened, and it was like, okay, we had to like chill out for a little bit. But and then personal residential investigations that we do that they won't be able to go on, but locals can come with us anywhere. I mean, we can go anywhere, and even Winter Island in Salem. I did a couple investigations in Winter Island. I spent the whole summer there last year, camping. It was great.
How awesome is that? And
Yeah.
then the Bridgewater Triangle. I actually have an investigator that used to live up there who lives in Florida. Christopher Belzano wrote a book on the Bridgewater Triangle. I don't have it with me here right now because it's when
You
you
could probably
get up
fill
here.
a book
But
with what happens in Bridgewater.
right, I read that book and I was just like, wow, that place is like
Yeah.
on my bucket list of places because I would like to go if I ever get up there.
And it's good too because my team, all besides Leon, who's new, I have Corey, Rachel, and Stefan. All of them they're all sensitive, and Rachel herself, she's an empath as well as very sensitive, and she has a lot of abilities that are very amazing. And Corey is the same way. So when you go out there, when we were out in the Bridgewater Triangle, he was seeing shadow people walking around the woods that were following us and stuff like that. And he was kind of watching them and stuff like that. See, I'm not sensitive, and it's really a loss that I'm not sensitive. And some people tell me that I am. I just need to tune into my ability. But that's like a learned thing that you have to learn. You have to learn to tune into your abilities. If I had the abilities that Corey and Rachel have, as well as many other people, I would help them. I would help them on the other side, and I would help them into the light and cross over. Because a lot of these spirits, the reason why they're here, they're earthbound spirits. They haven't crossed over. That's why you're able to communicate with them on the earth realm, because they're closest to the earth, to our realm. You know what I mean? They're closest to that, and that's why you're able to communicate with them. And if I could, I would help them, move over and cross over. And it's like, it kind of bothers me that I don't have those abilities, but it is what it is. So it helped when we were on investigations with my team, because they have those abilities that they can do so many things and know so many things and stuff like that. They can know the answers. Like, I have to use a pendulum to get my answers.
Right. It definitely broadens it's a good tool to use.
It's a great tool. It's a great tool.
Yeah, I agree totally.
Yeah.
You just called me a tool. Thanks, dear.
Before we get into the history of Salem, tell us what Salem, Massachusetts is like today. The culture, the shops, the people.
All right. Well, as far as like culture, there's a lot of witches and witchcraft in Salem. And they have a lot of nightlife, which is really fun. It's a fun place to be around. They have a lot of shops, interesting shops. They have just a lot of places everywhere you step in Salem, it's all historical. If you walk down Chestnut Street, or you walk down Essex Street, or you're looking at these buildings that are from the 1800s, and they have plaques on them, and they're just the architecture of these buildings are just phenomenal, and they're so big. And I know I lived in an 1800 house in Salem when I was going to high school, and it was all hardwood floor. It was just beautiful, and but you have a lot of the witch trials, the witches. It's all hysteria. It's all everything. You can go into all these different witch shops and places, and it's just really neat, and the nightlife there, it is just wonderful, especially on Halloween. Halloween is the best time. I go down there every year on Halloween. It's just my favorite place to be. You got millions of people in the streets. They close off the streets, and you just walk the streets, and there's just lights and people, and everyone's dressed up. I mean, everybody. There's not one person that isn't, and it's a great experience. So if you could ever get down there, go during those months, and you'll never want to leave. Yeah, I lived in Salem for many years. Like I said, I graduated Salem High School. It's just a part of me. It's home. I could never live out of state. If this is home to me, I would feel weird being somewhere else. I wouldn't feel right. I'd be nervous. This is home. So
that's cool. That really
yeah.
is.
Can you tell us what the witch culture there is like?
Well, you can basically you can get tours in Salem. You can. I know Lori Cabot. She's not there. Her store's not there anymore, but she still is online with her shops and stuff. But you can go down there and take tours. I don't know how much it is. I've never taken it. And they can show you around everywhere, and they explain all of it to you. But the witch culture, everywhere you go, you're either in a witch shop or there are a lot of more witches than you would think in Salem. A lot of them. But I mean, between the crystals and the potions and spells.
Are there a lot of psychics and metaphysics? Because when you talk about crystals, I kind of think of that.
Yeah, you can get readings pretty much in a couple shops down there. Yep, they have readings. Um, I mean, it's anything you can think of, you can get it done in Salem. Anything that you're looking for, you can find it in Salem. It's just everything you can think of is just, it's all witch based, and all ghost and haunting based, basically.
How far is Salem from Boston?
45 minutes.
Well, that's not bad. So you got a kind of a
On a good day, you can do it in half an hour, but I'd say 45 minutes. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I suppose there's a lot of ghosts there. Ghosts of witches.
What's say so much of witches? I know the Lyceum is the old Bridget Bishop's orchard back in the day. So the Lyceum itself, odd lights, mist, black blobs and photos. There's a female with Victorian dress there that's been witnessed with a child. They're not sure if that was Bishop herself, but there's a lot of haunted places. I mean, right now I'm looking at 25 haunted places just strictly in Salem. Then you have the underground tunnels. Never mind. I'm trying to get an investigation. I want to get down there, definitely. And I have a friend that, my first show, I had him on as a guest, and he actually writes books about the underground tunnels and does the Salem tours. And he told me where to go, and I can go and ask permission to go down there. Because they're all in different shops. I mean, you could be in a witch shop, and like their back room has a trap door that goes into the tunnels. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have to go into a shop and ask them for permission to go through their shop to the tunnels to do an investigation. But I mean, you're looking at a lot of places in Salem. I mean, a lot of places have history as far as ghosts and hauntings. I can go through a couple of them if you want.
Well,
I don't.
We can do that. I mean,
That's okay. Okay.
actually,
To understand the ghosts of Salem, we need to understand the history of Salem. When did the witch trial start?
All right. Well, the witch trial started in 1692 to 1693. There was more than 200 people that were accused of practicing witchcraft. 20 of them were executed, and eventually the colony admitted the trials were a mistake, and they compensated the families of the convicted. But it all started back in 1692, where, Elizabeth, Reverend Paris's daughter Elizabeth, who was 9, and Abigail Williams, who was 11, and they started having fits. They were screaming, throwing things. Particular sounds were coming out of them, and they were in strange positions. And the local doctor blamed it all on the supernatural. So basically, that's where the whole thing started. You have Ann Putnam, who was 11. She experienced the same episodes, and those 3 girls basically were blamed. Tituba was blamed. She was the Paris's Caribbean slave. Sarah Good, she was a homeless beggar. And Sarah Osborne, she was just an elderly woman. So basically, they brought 3 of them. Got interrogated for several days, and basically, Sarah Osborne, she kept claiming her innocence, as did Sarah Good, and Tituba was the only one that confessed. But even though she was the only one that confessed, and everyone else claimed their innocence, all 3 of them were put in jail. But the first case was Bridget Bishop. She claimed her innocence, but she was found guilty on June 10th, and she was the first person hanged on Gallows Hill. And then 5 days later, 5 people were sentenced and hanged. And then in July, 5 more in August, and 8 more in September. And that was it. So 1693, Governor Phillips pardoned everyone in prison at that time that was on witchcraft charges. But the damage was already done, you know what I mean, with 19 hanged on Gallows Hill. And Giles Corey was pressed to death with heavy stones. So Besides the people who did die in jail, nearly 200 people overall were accused were released. Um,
No,
Basically, they confessed that it was an error, that it was a mistake. And in 1697, the court ordered a day of fasting for the soul searching for the tragedy of Salem. In 1702, the court declared the trials unlawful. And in 1711, the colony passed a bill restoring the rights and good names of those accused. And everyone was granted $600 in restitution for the family. And in 1957, Massachusetts actually apologized for the events that happened in 1692.
it took him a while.
It took a while, yeah, but it finally happened.
If I remember, the people that admitted they were, or that they confessed to it, they didn't get hanged. I mean, Tituba was never hung.
No, I believe not. No.
But it was the ones that denounced it that said they weren't. They were the ones that were hung. It's like if you admit it, then
Yeah,
at
you
that
stand,
point, with the faith of
Right.
their faith based in the if they admitted it, then they can repent or whatever.
Well, look at Giles Corey. They tried to force a confession out of him, and he was crushed to death with rocks.
Yeah,
And
he kept saying more weight.
right, and he kept saying more weight every time they would yell and scream at him for an accusation. He would just sit there and not say a word. Like she just said, he would only say more weight until they finally crushed him to death.
Do they know the spot? Does everyone know where the spot is? Where they actually
Well,
did that?
Gallows Hill. Gallows Hill today, where Gallows Hill today is not the spot where they were hanged. Absolutely not. There's so much speculation to where the spot is. If you look at the old maps, they think it's more towards the Walgreens, which would make the hanging tree somewhere around the North River, which is still far away from the real Gallows Hill that is today. But you got to think back then, Danvers was Salem, the old Salem, you know what I mean? That land. And that was where Danvers State Hospital was. And for some reason, to me, I always thought Gallows Hill was on the land in the old Salem on the backfield of Danvers State Hospital. It just, all the research I've done and looked and tried to figure out where it could be, that's where it always pointed me to. But I mean, I could be 100% wrong. No one knows where Gallows Hill is, but it definitely isn't where it is today. But that's where Gallows Hill is, and that's where Gallows Hill is.
So, where is the most haunted spot in Salem, do you think?
That would have to be the Joshua Ward House. The Joshua Ward House would have to be the most haunted place. That's the one that has the picture that looks like what's her name, Ross there, with the hair. Not Betsy Ross. What's her name? Oh, I don't know. But you didn't see the ghost photo of Joshua Ward House, and it's a black and white photo.
You know
and,
what? If it's a classic, I'm sure I've seen it. I just can't.
Yeah, it's a classic. Diana Ross. She's got the big hair like Diana. Every time I post it, I was like, oh, that's Diana Ross.
That really creepy, freaky, scary. Yeah, that's something else.
Yeah. There they find candles bent in the shape of an S. Alarms are called to the police and fire all the time. The alarms are always sending codes to them, and apparitions have been seen roaming around there, and they see women sitting in the window all the time there. You're not even allowed in that house, to be honest with you. You couldn't get an investigation even if you wanted. I think it's privately owned. You can't get in there at all. The closest you can get to there is if you Google the inside of Joshua Ward House. That's the closest you're ever going to see the inside of that house is through your computer. You'll never go in that house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And that's the most haunted spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to kind of understand where the owners are coming from, too. I mean, I think they kind of went private so they wouldn't have this fear of people constantly banging down their door to try and get in.
True. Yeah.
Well, like what we started doing with the summer wind benefit, because there were so many people that were going out there and trespassing, because the owners didn't live on the property. They lived, in Illinois, which is, next state over. and so people would go there and trespass all the time.
Oh yeah.
So we started doing these campouts, and to give people a chance to come onto the property and spend the night. And we would do like a meet and greet. Last time we did it, there was 3 different paranormal teams out there,
Oh,
and a bunch of people showed up, and that way they can go there and they can ghost hunt on the property without trespassing. And
exactly.
so yeah,
That's nice to do that, and give someone that advantage. Because it really is hard. It really is hard to. I mean, I'm trying, like I said, we're trying to get into these houses up in Gables right now, and I've just been so busy. I haven't really had time to make that phone call. But there are places. I mean, there's plenty of places that you probably are allowed in.
So where's the second most haunted spot?
Second most haunted spot. Let's see. You got the Joshua Ward house. Well, Rope's Mansion is pretty haunted. Hawthorne Hotel, yeah. A couple of rooms are, let's see here. Custom House. Second most haunted. Custom House. Common experiences are odd flickering lights. That seem to disappear when you get close to them. And Nathaniel Hawthorne actually got fired from the Custom House when he worked there because he kept complaining about ghosts walking up and down the hallway, and they wouldn't believe him, and they fired him for it.
Really?
Yeah, so he got fired for that. But I'd say the Custom House. The Custom House is definitely would be second on the list.
Can people get in there and investigate?
I don't see. You can take a tour in there.
Oh.
So if you can take a tour in there, I'm pretty sure if you called the right people, I'm not sure. It would just take a bunch of photos. Yeah, there's the picture. Josh in chat just put the picture up.
I remember the first time I saw that, I was a kid, and that just so mesmerized me.
That's actually old. That's actually an older back then they got that. I'm not sure what year. Maybe Josh can find it. I'm not sure exactly what year that was.
Like the 30s or something.
Yeah, but it was. I mean, it's a good catch. It was right in the doorway, and they blew it up, and that's Diana Ross's hair right there.
I was gonna say,
right? That's what everyone says to me.
She does have the hair.
I would say the third haunted would be the witch house, the Jonathan Corwin house. People feel anger, anxiety, and fear. Full body apparitions, footsteps, and furniture being dragged across the floor. So if it's able to drag furniture across the floor, it's intelligent enough to be third most haunted in Salem. Yep.
Yeah, so Salem's got so many places that are well known.
Oh yes, and you can stay at the bed and breakfast. Morning Glory, or you can stay at a Hawthorne Hotel. Hawthorne Hotel. See if I can find it here. Rooms 325 and 612 are the most haunted. Those are the only 2 rooms that are haunted. I used to go in that place all the time. But they hear unearthly voices, lights turn off and on, toilets flush on their own, footsteps, knockings, and the elevator buttons light up by themselves. Salem Jail I actually went into. Salem Jail, it's a shame. It's a shame. I was so upset even when they knocked down Danvers State Hospital and they turned it into apartments. I mean, I used to go in there at 3 o'clock in the morning almost every weekend, you know what I mean, for the longest time. I was actually there when they made the movie Session 9.
Oh, wow.
I was dating the security guard there. And we used to go up on the tower and mess with the security and light off fireworks and stuff just to play around, used to see them scatter. But I was there when they made that movie, and it was pretty cool. It was really cool. And then that was the last time I've ever been in it, was when that movie was made, because then they moved it into apartments. Well, they did the same thing with Salem Jail. Why couldn't they just leave history alone? Why would you want to make something that, at Salem Jail, many hear metal-like sounds, coming from within the walls. They also hear whispers, shouts, and groans. They witness lights inside the jail where there's no floor, so it possibly couldn't. It's just weird because there's no floor there. So if there's no floor, how can you see all these lights up top through the windows? They would see lightning effects coming from inside
Oh,
as
wow.
well. Yeah, like could you imagine being on the outside and seeing all the lightning inside the building? I actually went in there once. I jumped through a window and I went in there, and it was all empty. And it's an empty jail. It's been there for a long time, and there was like walls were just written on everywhere, and there were beds there, and it was just really cool to be in it. But to take that and turn it into apartments, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you think, hmm, now I'm gonna have haunted apartments? I mean, if anyone, I would like to know if anyone out there does live at these places or know anyone that lives at I forget the name of it, St. Peter condominium. I don't know what it is. It's
That
something
reminds
like
me of
that.
like Linda Vista,
Right.
how they're turning that into
Right.
a
It's
park.
Oh,
right. And it's
yeah.
just it's horrible. You have all this
Uh,
rich history. You have all these historically preserved buildings, and it's like people don't even care about history anymore. So much so that they're taking historically but very haunted places and turning them into apartments. When I think if you have an historical structure with that kind of history to it, you should leave it alone.
Exactly, because David State Hospital, when they were doing construction, fires would be started, and they would on their own. Even people that live there now, they're having problems. You know what I mean? Like things are happening inside their houses. Fires are starting. I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, you walk in there and you're freezing, and all these cold spots, and I couldn't imagine what's going on in there. I wouldn't want to, knowing what took place in these hospitals. There's a lot of negativity. Turn them into apartments. I just don't understand it. But if anyone does live at these places, or in Salem, or know someone that lives there, give us a shout, because I'd like to know what's going on inside the Salem jail apartments. I'd like to know if there's things going on. I don't know anyone that lives there to ask. You know,
Right.
Who is the most popular ghost in Salem?
most popular ghosts. Well, I would have to say the one that's seen the most, from what I understand, is the Howard Street Cemetery. Giles Quarry is the most seen there, by people. But that's a good question.
Well, who's your favorite ghost?
My favorite in Salem. What is my favorite? Do I have a favorite? There's so many. Um, I know my favorite place is the Joshua Ward house, but my favorite ghost. That is a good question. Might have to get back to you on that one. Because a lot of people, they see, a lot of these apparitions that are seen are like in Victorian dresses. They're back then.
Right.
They're Salem residences. You know what I mean? So who they are, people might not recognize them or know who they are, that are seen the
Right.
most. You know what I mean by that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's hard to know, is Bridget Bishop seen? Is all these people, are they seen? Because you won't find anything that tells you that they were. All I know is that Bridget Bishop's, orchard was like the Lyceum area. That was her orchard. I know that she's seen there. I know Giles Corey is seen in the Howard Cemetery. Now, everyone in the Burying Point Cemetery, all of the people are pretty much buried there too, between the two cemeteries. You would think you would see a lot of them there, and I spent many months hanging out, maybe years hanging out in that cemetery on the wall, where Roosevelt's used to be, which is now Murphy's. And I've never seen anything, but people have seen apparitions in that cemetery, full body apparitions actually.
How many paranormal societies or groups would you say are in the Salem area?
A lot. How many Precisely, that's a good question. I'd say a lot of people that have paranormal teams come from afar into Salem versus being in Salem. A lot of people in Salem more have the tours because you can go get a permit and you can do tours in Salem if you wanted to, and a lot of people come down to go on those tours or to go on the trolley and learn all the history because they teach you that on these tours. But investigation teams in Salem, I don't think there's that many, versus the ones that come out of state into Salem. So then there would be a lot of people come here to investigate, just because of the history, I mean, you could come up with so many anomalies and pictures and videos and audio just by hanging out in a cemetery and having a recorder on you and you're just recording as you're sitting there enjoying the weather. I mean, you play that back, I guarantee you're going to catch something. Absolutely.
A lot of ghost hunters diss cemeteries, but I find that they're a good spot to get evidence.
Absolutely. Why would I don't know why they would diss them for, you know what I mean, or not.
Well, they're like, doing a cemetery or well, but actually, I got my best paranormal photograph was in a cemetery.
Oh yeah, yeah. Cemeteries. I mean, absolutely. I mean, you don't even have to be on the cemetery. You could just be walking down the street. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's just so much history that goes back so far in Salem. Even the fire of 1914. That alone. That started in June of 1914, and there was 253 acres of land burned, 1,300 buildings gone. It was basically it covered a half-mile long by a half-mile wide. It resulted in 20,000 people being homeless and 10,000 people being out of work.
Oh wow!
I couldn't imagine how many people died in the fire.
Wow!
I mean, there's just so much history. It just dates so far back that you could just, like I said, be walking down the railroad tracks and you could catch something on an EVP or catch something in a picture. You don't have to be at any particular haunted place. You don't have to be at a cemetery at all.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So.
And you're right, even the fire alone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about that. A half a mile long by a half a mile wide.
Right.
That's crazy, and all because of a long dry spell that happened, and in a leather factory, and the fire started in a shed at street level. It was like acetone and alcohol in large quantities, where celluloid was stored, and it just like all of a sudden it was so dry, it just something happened, and bam, it just caused such a massive fire. Took out a lot of people, a lot of people's places.
Can you tell us about your scariest paranormal experience?
Scariest. Well, I don't really think of them as scary. I kind of think of them as, funny or. I don't really have a scary one. I mean, I know things that happened to me when I was young. They weren't scary when I was.
How about most fantastic?
Yeah, or coolest.
Well, I had a silhouette that shut my alarm clock off on me. I was laying in bed, and next thing I know, my alarm clock went off, but I couldn't move. I'm just listening to the beep, beep, beep. And I see the silhouette come from a laying down position, come up, shut my alarm clock off, and then lay back in my bed and disappear. And then I was able to move. And I just was like, huh? Like, really? Did I just see that? But I did. And that was in Salem, and that was on Gifford Court, and it was an 1800 house. But see, it's really hard for me. It really is, because I don't see them like some people can. I don't hear them like people can. You know what I mean? And that's why I feel a loss. Because I don't have that ability where, I mean, yes, I know what I saw, and I used to wake up every morning, my comforter would be across the room, and I'd have to get up and walk, a good amount away because there's a big rooms, those houses have big rooms, and while my comforter every morning, I'd wake up cold, and my comforter would be in the corner of my room. I mean, explain that,
Right.
I can't explain that. I've only had a couple experiences, and then I know a lot of what people tell me they see and they hear. You know what I mean? But I don't have that ability. I don't see what people see. I don't I really don't. I mean, even living in my house now where I am now, my son is sensitive. My son is 13 years old, and he, growing up, he would tell me that he could see things, and that, inanimate objects would move, or he would see ghosts in the street, or he'd be playing, and he knew that, my son was sensitive, and it would scare me because, I'm trying to, protect him as well as trying to get him to understand what's going on. He would see things, and he would tell me there's ghosts in my house. But you know what? I'd never been bothered in my life. The only time I've ever been bothered by a ghost was in Salem. That was it. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me,
You do go out and ghost hunt.
all the time.
So
Yes.
what? What can?
But I rely on my team to tell me what's going on.
Right.
See what I mean?
What kind of equipment do you use?
We use a lot of digital cameras. Corey's the equipment tech. He has a range of real nice digital cameras, tripods. We use camcorders. We use pendulums. We use DVD recorders for the EVPs, and basically that's all you need. Between a camcorder and a camera and a DVR, an audio device. You really don't need anything else to capture what's going on around you. But you could go depth in that and get infrared. Go, that's the spectrum. And I mean, we just use pendulums, and we find our answers out that way. Or like I said, Rachel, being of the abilities that she has, are able to tell us a lot with what's going on. And every investigation that I did, especially residential, I made sure that the problem left before I did.
Good
And
for you.
every time we've had so far 3 residentials, because my team is still new. We had 3 residentials, and all 3 of them involved children, and all 3 of them thanked me left and right. They couldn't believe what a difference after we left. They couldn't
Sweet.
believe that they can, not be afraid to be in their own home.
Isn't
They
that the
can
best?
sleep.
That
What's that?
isn't that the best?
It is. It is, especially the children, because they're so innocent. You know what I mean? They're so innocent, and they're afraid to be in their home. And it makes you feel really good to go down there and actually help them. And when you leave, have them tell you that it doesn't happen anymore. It's not there anymore. They don't see anything anymore. They don't feel that anymore. You know what I mean? And they thank me up and down, and I'm like, you're very welcome. It's awesome. It really is amazing. And that's what, I will always help anyone that needs help.
It always makes it worthwhile.
It does. It makes it very worthwhile. Even the messages I get on a daily basis through Facebook makes it all worthwhile. Absolutely.
Tom from Wisconsin says you have the ability to educate, and he said that your website is amazing.
Thank you very much, Tom. I really appreciate it. It does mean a lot to me. It's just something that I am fascinated with, and it's just something that I just do. It just comes to me, and I enjoy posting. I enjoy posting for everyone. I really do.
King was wanting to know if you do spells, and if so, do they work?
Yes, I do, and yes, they do. I do spells, and they very much work. Like I said, every time I leave an investigation, I do a banishing spell, a protection spell, and it has banished everything in the house. You could feel a difference in the air, let's put it that way, when you walk back in to the house. So yeah, they a lot of my fans on Facebook do follow Wiccan. Some of them are pagan. And I do post a lot of spells, and they are on my website as well. And they really do work. They really do. Um, it's just having the belief in them and following the spell and just doing it properly. And I would never put out any black magic spells. I mean, the spells that I put out, they're they're Wiccan based. They're not going to come back to you in a bad way. You're not doing any harm to anybody. You're not hurting anybody. You're not doing a spell on someone on a bad reason. It's all rewarding. It's all good. It's all for you. It's to get luck if you need luck. If you need a little bit of cash coming your way. If you need a job. If you need anything you could think of, I have a spell for it.
What's your favorite spell?
My favorite spell. Let's see, I'm trying to think of a lot of ones that I do. I like the love spells. I like the even though everything's free will. I like a lot of them. I don't think I don't have favorites. I never really have favorites. I know the banishment spells work like a charm because I've seen it work. I know I have sent a lot of spells, a lot of places, and a lot of good come back to me and say thank you. It worked, or stuff like that. So I mean, anything you can think of, there's a spell for it.
Are there more white witches or more dark witches in the Salem area, do you think?
Light witches. But I kind of stay away from the dark area. I don't even think there is any. I know there's a couple of them. I know there's a dark one in Beverly. It's like all voodoo and it's all black magic, and it's something when you walk in there, it's got human bones and stuff, and it's just like you walk in, you walk out, and say, "This is not for me." I don't do any of that. I don't do anything that has related with bad or all that juju, all that. You got to be really careful when you're doing spells. It can you have the threefold. It comes back to you, the law of three. Everything comes back to you three times. You want just good love and light. And that Tom, that he's right. Wiccan is very love and light faith, and there's nothing bad about it. And I would never give a bad spell to someone in a bad way. I would never use it in a bad way. So.
You strike me as a very love and light person.
Oh, absolutely, yes. To be honest with you, I used to be very shy. Very shy. I actually broke out of my shell when I did Haunted Salem, and it brought a part of me out that I just enjoy and I love being. You know what I mean?
Right. I do. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah, I just it changed me in a way. It made me more of. It got me out of that shell, the shy spell. And I communicate with people now. Now I'm not afraid. I mean, before I would be afraid to do the show, 100% afraid to do the show. Now I'm not afraid to do the show at all. Even my own show, it made me grow. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah, it does the same for us, actually.
Yeah.
Dead Creek, William and Melissa said to say hello, sis.
Oh, hi guys. Yeah, they're good friends of mine. I consider them family to me. Will and Mel are just awesome, and their show, Dead Creek Radio, they have a great show, and I love them. So hi, I'm Will and Mel.
Yeah, they're awesome.
What do you think of Ouija boards?
Do not like them. Everyone's dabbled in Ouija boards. When I was young, used to play with them, but it's not a toy. It's nothing to play with. You can really call in some evil entities if you don't say goodbye and rub it on your legs and say goodbye and do things the right way. Even if you did that, it doesn't matter. You're playing with fire. You really are, and you can invite things into your home that you don't want there. So I don't suggest at all playing with Ouija boards. You even hear the stories, I threw it in a dumpster and it ended up back on my front doorstep when I walked back to my house. You don't play with any of that. That's no good. And this Charlie thing online, you hear about this?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of did a 2-hour post rant on it when I heard about it.
Oh my God, no. Stay away from that. You're inviting evil to you. And we actually had to do an investigation. The last investigation we did was because of Charlie. And what was in the house was just pure evil. I mean, it was just nuts. And we actually banished it and we got rid of it. And even to now, they're still thanking us because they're not afraid to be in their home anymore. And I said, don't play with that. You can't do that. That's no good. They think it's this, it ain't going to happen. But, that pencil moves. That pencil's moving by itself. It's happening. You have to see it for yourself. You can YouTube it and you can see it happen. You don't even need to do it yourself. Just YouTube it if you're interested in it. Because you're inviting things into your home that you can't get rid of unless you really find a way to get rid of it. You ain't getting rid of it.
I tell you, as a historian, the amount of cases where the Ouija board has brought negativity so far outweighs the amount of reports where you get anything positive out of it. I mean, in fact, I could probably count the positive reports on my two hands, and the negative reports are countless.
Well, when I lived in South Florida for 16 years, I helped paranormal teams left and right when they had to go and they had problems with Ouija boards and they let all these dark, evil things in. And it turns out that they decided to play with the board and they didn't know how to close the door. So I would be called in to do my medium walk and I would pretty much tell them what's there and how I found out it was there and do a removal and then have, say, like a priest or a minister, whatever their faith was, to come in and take the proper steps to do a cleansing and a blessing to get rid of these things.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely. You have to go in, banish it, and then do a protection for them and the house, so nothing comes back.
Speaking of smudgings, cleansings, and blessings, for smudge, what do you like to use?
To banish?
Or do you smudge? I mean,
honestly, no. I do not. I do not smudge other people's homes when I go in.
Yeah.
Because that's not really going to get rid of anything. I mean, you may think that going in there and it will cleanse. It will cleanse negativity, but it's not going to banish evil things.
No,
that
no, absolutely not. It's something that's going to be done on a regular basis. And even if you do it on a regular basis, you're only reducing the activity by maybe 50%. That's my feeling on it. But it can help, and it can, if you can reduce activity by any amount of percent, it's good.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is going in there and banishing it.
Oh, right. I mean,
and get rid of it. And I do that by spells. I go in there with a couple spells, and I go in and banish, and then protect, and then cleanse. Yeah. So I mean, that's what I do. But what you use smudging for, I don't know. People, I carry my own crystals and stones around. I have a certain stones that I keep that I keep on me all the time. You should always keep your stones on the left side, left pocket, wherever, always on the left side. And when you want to cleanse your stones to get rid of the negativity that they attract, you want to smudge them. So you would take the sage and you would burn it and blow it out, and you would take the smoke and go around your crystals and stones to cleanse them, and then you can do your body as well and cleanse yourself. So that's what I do. That's the only thing I use sage for is doing that.
Would you condone ritual use to garner evidence of paranormal activity?
Ritual based? Say that again?
Yeah. Would you condone ritual use to garner evidence?
Yeah.
Some people that will perform rituals trying to
Yeah.
get paranormal activity to happen?
Yeah. No, I don't think that. Oh, to get paranormal activity or to banish it.
No,
If
to
you just
get
want
it.
to bring it out,
Well, yeah, right, to get it. I mean,
is that like provoking? You shouldn't have to perform a ritual to bring it out. You know what I mean? To you, that I don't think you should do
so
that.
you don't
No,
condone it.
no, I do not.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah, we don't.
But I was right earlier. The Salem population, when you asked me, it is 40,000. It is 40,000. And there are hundreds of witches, psychic readers, potion brewers, Wiccans, and pagans in Salem.
That was our next question. How many mediums are in Salem?
Yeah, there actually are.
Sweet.
I actually did some research, and I have it right here. And I just couldn't find it earlier when you asked me. But yeah, there's quite a few. And the pagan community in Salem. And I just wanted to touch up the difference between a pagan and a Wiccan. The difference between a pagan and a Wiccan is a pagan is used to describe any religion outside of Christianity, Judaism, or Judeo-Christian. Wiccan is a form of paganism, meaning it's a religion that falls under it. Paganism describes numbers of religion like Wicca, Satanism, Buddhism, and all that stuff. Wicca is derived from the word witchcraft and has so much negative, has actually it says there's no negativity attached to Wiccan at all. It's all, like Tom said, it was all love and light. You know what I mean? Everything is love and light and nice. So there's different stages of pagan, but Wiccan is just one that falls under it. So I mean but there's a lot of Wiccans in Salem and pagans.
Right. A little theology tip.
Yeah, basically paganism. You do not have to practice witchcraft, but in Wicca, witchcraft is usually practiced. That's the difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's important to note that. And we have 6 categories on the show here and in our society, the library we have, and one of them is theology. And as a team, you really got to understand theology. It comes into play, with the people's religions and their beliefs, and and you got to respect that.
Oh, absolutely.
And theology is actually quite important in the Paraversal universe.
Yep. I mean, right now in Salem, you got Lori Cabot. She's the official witch of Salem. She has been a staple in the Salem pagan community for years. It's sad that her shop had to close, but she's still online and she's still doing her thing. You have Lori Bruno. She's another famous member of Witch City. She's the pagan community. She's renowned for her psychic readings. She does. You have Christian Day. He's the infamous warlock of Salem. He owns the Hex and the Omen, and he runs the Festival of the Dead. And then you have Leon Marama. She's known for her psychic abilities too, and she's a high priestess of the Raven Moon Coven. So, I mean, you have a lot of, those are just the couple of names that are associated with Salem. But under that, you know how many witches there are in Salem? There's probably, there are hundreds, and a lot of people do practice. Like I said, I find more Wiccans than I do pagans. But I mean, it's just, Salem is just covered with it. You wouldn't even know they're a witch, to be honest with you. You'd have to ask them. You'd have to ask them, are you a witch or not? Because you wouldn't even know.
It's ironic that at one point in time it would be the last place on earth you'd want to be if you were a witch. And now it's become the most noted place for witches to be.
Absolutely. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
What are your favorite reference books?
Ooh, good one. I like Lorraine and Warren, Ed and Lorraine Warren. I love them. Rest in peace, Ed. And I have a bookshelf of all ghost books. I mean, I don't read nothing but ghost books, and they have to be, true and real and stuff like that. And Lorraine and Ed, actually, I have it here. My favorite book is called, where is it? It is called Satan's Harvest. But that's not with Ed and Lorraine, but that's my favorite book. Satan's Harvest is Michael Laza Loranda. This book, I'm telling you, I could not put down. It's just my favorite book. I don't know why. I just read it, I loved it, and it stuck with me. But Lorraine and Ed, I have every one of their books. And Demonology was my favorite. Their Demonology book was my favorite of their books. Let's see. What else do I have? Oh, you know who's another good author of books is Leslie Rule. You ever hear her?
Yes, she's really good. I
She,
have a lot
when
of
the
her
ghost
books.
screams, I have every one of her books. When the ghost screams, Ghost Among Us, Coast to Coast Ghosts,
Sweet.
Ghost in the Mirror. I have every one of them. Her books and Leslie Rule are just amazing. I suggest those. So, other than that, I don't have any other favorite um, authors or anything. Those are my favorite right there, and I definitely suggest them because I mean I love reading and I love going book shopping and going in there and smelling the books, and I'm like I have bookmarks for every one of them. I don't bend the pages, you know what I mean? I take care of them. They're all perfect, and I just sit there and I read them and I get so into them, and they're just great. You
Right.
know, it's just another learning curve.
Right, you're like me. Every time I go get a book, I have to have a bookmark for it, and I
Yeah,
I can't even count on 10 fingers how many paranormal books I have because I pretty much have every single one that has
yeah,
probably ever been published,
you
so
know.
with bookmarks included.
Oh yeah, when I go buy a book, I have to buy a bookmark for the book. Yep, that's what I do. And you know, Barnes and Noble is actually closed down here, and no, not Barnes and Nobles. Borders closed. So you know, I actually do everything online and just have them shipped to my house. You know, but even walking in a bookstore, it's like you take a good, nice big whiff, and it's like, you know,
We like to go
so,
to like Goodwill or different places like that because you can get used books, and you find some of the coolest books that you won't even find in bookstores.
oh yeah, there's one right up in Danvers, the used bookstore. I love those places. I mean, like you said, you can find nice things really cheap. You don't have to spend $30 on a book because I have a hard time spending $30 on a book. You know, just because I don't have, you know, I just don't want to. You know, if I can go find something, you know, the same book for less, I'm going to. And that's why I do a lot of online shopping because you can go third world things and you can get something that's, you know, $30, $40 for like 10, and it's the same brand new book. So just a little, you know, um, you know, why am I gonna spend that?
Oh, I agree
You know?
totally.
Yeah. So, but yeah, used bookstores absolutely you find the amazing things, and they have one right in Salem too. And you go in there, and it's just wall to wall, everything you can think of. Salem books, ghost books. It's right next to the Magic Parlor, which is the place you need to go. Magic Parlor in Salem is just phenomenal. Between the gifts and the gags and the things they have in there, it's just like you'll never experience it anywhere else. You know what I mean? You have to experience it there. Um, so
Our library is growing. It's not totally there yet, but um, good books come out every year, and we do our best to keep up with it. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, a lot of times, a lot of people will post their books on my page, which is fine. You can post anything you want on my page. I love, what do you call it? Supporting local business and supporting, you know, my fans' books. So if someone comes to me and says, "Hey, why don't you take a look at my book?" I'll go and buy that book because, like, you know, I just support it, you know, and I'll put it on my bookshelf. And and I just love supporting the locals and things like that. So just something I enjoy doing. You know, you gotta support local business.
Do you have events like festivals or expos or paracons?
Not yet. I'm gonna be working towards that in the future. Definitely is on my list. I definitely want. I've been collabing a lot with Which Way, which is in Beverly, and they're a new witch shop that opened. They're not in Salem. They're in Beverly, but I've been collabing a lot with them. And she does a lot of events there. I was thinking of going there, and doing some events in her shop. What do you call it? Workshops, stuff like that. I have to, like I said, kind of get the rights to my name before I can do stuff like that. And I'm trying my hardest to get that done. It's just I keep running in circles right now with that. But I don't think I can do events and use my name Haunted Salem without having the rights to it. See what I mean? So that's why I'm trying to get that straightened out so I can write a book. I can make a magazine. I can do an event and host it. I can very easily go down and rent a hall and host an event or a workshop for local people in Salem or locals that want to come down. But honestly, I don't know if I can use my name on in Salem.
It's too bad they don't honor pen names, you know,
I,
because that's basically what it is, you know. And like the same with Nyoka, also. But also she writes things and just like you, she goes by
yeah.
that. So, have you ever come across haunted objects?
Well, yeah, I've done investigations where, spirits are like attached to certain objects when you bring them in. That's why I do post a lot about cleansing antiques. Oh, there's Rachel. She, she helps me a lot in investigations because she's able to sense and know what's attached to certain objects. So we do come across haunted objects that come from other places that you brought in with you. But that's why I do post on my page a lot, or I like to let people know you need to cleanse something, an antique, before you bring it to your house. You go to an antique shop and you buy an antique, okay, maybe an antique and you love it, but you don't know what's attached to that, especially mirrors. I'm very afraid of mirrors. I don't like mirrors. I'm afraid what I'll see in them, so to speak.
Right.
I just, it's just a fear that I have. I don't like basements and mirrors. Those are the only two things. But, you bring in an object into your home. You don't know what's attached to that, especially if it's old. And you should be cleansing things with sage or a certain type of, like you said, ritual, a spell or something, a cleansing thing.
Intense, right.
To cleanse it before you bring it in, because you would be surprised how many. That's one of the first questions I ask actually in investigations is, do you buy antiques and do you bring them in your home? And so far, a lot of them are yes, and that's where you can attach things and have them come into your home because you brought them in. So you should always be careful. I mean, I can go to a yard sale right now and buy anything that could be haunted. With attached and spirit to it, absolutely. Yeah.
Something I wanted to bring up. I seen, was it last week? You had posted a picture of a flying humanoid.
Oh yeah.
Did you take that, or was that?
No, I didn't take that. That was just something I came across, and it was weird, right?
Right.
Something in the sky like that. When you take a closer look, it's actually,
Well, some people have claimed, of course, that the flying humanoids, some of them are witches. And, of course, there's that legendary case of that cop in Mexico who was attacked by that flying alien witch thing.
Oh, wow.
Have you heard about that?
No, I didn't hear about that one.
I'll have to send you the link. I'll have to find it on YouTube and send that to you. It's really interesting.
Yeah. You mean what's out there? I mean, there's no. I mean, it. You can think it. I'm sure it happened. You know what I mean? Especially, it's just weird. all these cryptoids and things that they're finding in the woods and things that are coming out. You can't be surprised by seeing something like that. You know what I mean? You just can't.
Yeah, I agree.
Strange, bizarre things happen in this world all over the world, not just here. I mean, in strange places of the world. And I definitely believe in aliens. I believe 100% that they're out there. I don't believe 1 minute that they're not. I believe that they visit us all the time, 100%. So if they can have that, you can have anything out there. So if you have this flying-oyed witch, you know what I mean? You got to believe it, and
Well, there are strange
yeah,
things out there.
yeah,
Do
yeah,
you,
it's crazy. It's great. I mean, I see some really bizarre things that people have captured, and you can't be surprised by it. I don't know.
What are your thoughts on poltergeist?
Um, Intelligent. They're dangerous. You can really, if you really have a poltergeist in your home, you get some serious stuff going on there because things are moving. Um, they could even lift you up off the ground. Absolutely. That's where crosses go upside down, fly off the wall. Um, those are poltergeists. They're noisy. They're malevolent. They're just very intelligent, and they like to harm you. Basically, that's what they're doing. I mean,
Hey, we've talked about Salem for
mhm.
a good part of pretty much the whole show. Uh, but do you have a bucket list? Some like outside of Salem?
Oh, Lizzie Borden, 100%.
Oh yeah.
Lizzie Borden, I don't know why. I'm fascinated with her case. Lizzie Borden, Fall River is not that far from here, and I think it's like $1,500 a night.
Oh,
It's
really?
crazy.
That's insane.
Now, if I could come up with the money, I would take my team and I'd go down to there and we'd sleep there. I would sleep in the bed, no problem. I would love it. I would love it. For some reason, I want to go there. That's on my bucket list, 100%.
I can't believe it's that much. Holy sh!
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
$1,500, and you know what? Honestly, if I owned something like that, like obviously these people, bought it. They're making money off of it. They're profiting off a murder that happened years, decades. You know what I mean? Which I don't think it's right to profit off something like that. I honestly, if I owned that place, I would have people come there, wouldn't charge them a dime, have them investigate, have them sleep over, have them experience the experience. You know what I mean? I would never, ever charge them $1 to go see the Lizzie Borden house. I wouldn't profit off it. But that's just me, But I think it's wrong for them to profit off it. I don't think it's right. I think it's wrong. But yeah, $1,500. That's a lot of cake.
Wow, that is, and you wouldn't think it would be that much.
Can you imagine spending $1,500 going to the Lizzie Borden and have nothing happen?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
Tom.
I've heard of cases where that happened,
Oh,
where they go there, nothing's happened, nothing. They don't see nothing, they don't get nothing, they don't feel nothing, and I'm like, it's crazy. Next on my bucket list, where do I want to go? The Liska Axe House, murder house. That and the DeFeos, Amityville. Those three cases, Lizzie Borden, the Axe House, and DeFeo. I saw the first murder interview with Ronnie DeFeo. It was 4 videos long. It had 4 parts to it, and I watched all 4 parts, and I was fascinated to the end. I was just, for some reason, I feel bad for the guy. I mean, he honestly, still to this day, doesn't even know what happened there. You know what I mean? And that's what he actually says. He says, to this day, I don't even know what happened at Amityville. It's just a house. It's all it is a house. And there's a lot of, Sadie, there's a lot of, back and forth with the Lorraine Warren and Ed Warren and the Amityville house, and if it's real and if it's not, and if it's faked and it's a hoax, and a lot of people for some reason think Ed and Lorraine are hoaxes. And until you're there and you experience it for yourself, you're always going to have skeptics. But I don't know whether to believe in the Amityville story. Obviously, 6 people died. The whole family died. Robert the Doll, Rachel. Thank you.
St. Augustine.
Haunted dolls. Thanks, Rachel. Robert the Doll is besides Lizzie Borden. Robert the Doll is where I want to go. That is in Florida.
Yeah.
Robert the Doll is my favorite. My favorite. He's on my bucket list. I want to go. I want to see him. I guess you have to ask him permission to take his picture, and if he moves his head sideways, you're allowed to. But if he doesn't move, you cannot take his picture.
Yes.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I never got to go for the 16 years I lived in Florida. I still want to go, but I remember doing research that if you didn't get his permission for pictures, you wouldn't be able to get one of him.
You wouldn't be able to get one of them, but I think he'd visit you too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that he would come visit you because of the fact that you didn't ask him his permission. There's something with that. Yes, Will and Mel. Robert the Doll is awesome. He's definitely on my bucket list. So I mean, those are my favorite things right there. I'm not really into the Annabelle doll. I don't really like how Hollywood portrayed the Annabelle doll, but the Annabelle doll is nothing to fool around with. When you go down there, the Warrens Occult Museum, there's everything in there has come from an investigation that they brought there, and I'm from what I understand, if you're anywhere near that doll, it just something really bad can happen to you when you leave or any time, and I just rather stay away. You know what I mean? I just rather stay away from Annabelle. I don't think I want to go see her.
Right,
but
I don't
Robert,
either.
I want to go see Robert.
I'd probably look at everything in the Warrens Occult Museum, but that particular doll, because that creeps me out just reading about her. So,
yeah.
Will has a question for you. Do
Sure.
you think that the interest in the paranormal is causing more activity, or is it just our understanding of what paranormal activity is that has changed, and we are able to recognize it better or easier?
Yeah, I think we're able to recognize it better and easier. I think we have more of an understanding today than we did back then about what paranormal is. People nowadays are more educated than they were. And the interest in the paranormal, I don't think is causing more activity. I don't think that at all. I don't think our interest in it is making it come out. I think it's always been there. And it doesn't go away, whether they bother you or don't bother you. I mean, you could be at a house right now and you may have, people in your home that you're not even aware of because they don't bother you. Either it's residual, they don't know they're dead. It's like a movie. It just plays over and over again to them, and there are spirits that can't see the living, and that's what residual is. They don't see us. They just see their own time. They live their own time, and it's like it's a continuous. It's like Groundhog Day over and over again. That's what it is. Then you have spirits that are intelligent that can communicate with you, and there are a lot more intelligent spirits out there than we realize. But all in all, like I said, my son tells me I have shadow people. I have Corey come in here and tell me I have shadow people in my house. But how come I don't see the shadow people? How come not bothered by the shadow people? How come they can see them, behind the doors, but I can't? So that's what I mean. You could be living in a haunted house, you just don't see them. Maybe because you're not sensitive to it, you don't have the ability to, you're not there, spiritually, and that's a learned thing. You have to learn to attune in and see. And honestly, I'm still learning that because I don't see. So the only thing I probably would be able to see would be a poltergeist because of the fact that it will throw a pan across the room. It will move that chair. It'll shake that bed. See, Rachel, she says, yes, you do, Haunted. See, everyone tells me that I do have the ability. I just don't know I have it. And unless you're in tune to it or learn how to be in tune to it, I guess you're just blind. And I guess that's where I am. I have to sit down with Rachel and sit down with Corey and have them teach me how to be in tune with myself because I want to. I feel a loss. I want to help, and I feel like I'm not helping. I feel helpless,
Right.
and I don't want to feel that way.
That's what I was gonna say. Because you have so many sensitives in your crew. Maybe they should start doing. They could start doing psychic circles with you.
Yeah, it's something.
Something where you have cards and runes and pendulums and different forms of communication to open up your abilities more. Because
Sure.
honestly, from my medium standpoint, and I'm agreeing with everybody in your crew, you are sensitive.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why I can't. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I have intuition. I don't know if that's part of sensitivity with paranormal.
Well, yeah.
If you just go by intuition.
Oh yeah,
Some people have
intuition is a very
spidey
good
sense, you mean?
spidey sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
some people.
like that's all I feel I have. I don't. I don't.
Some people have empathy.
Right.
Yeah, empathy. I know Rachel. She's an empath. And I don't. I really do. I really think that's my next step. I think that's my next step is to sit down with my team and say, here, what do I need to do?
Right.
What and take it to that next level. Absolutely, I think I'll do that.
Right. Have psychic circles with everybody.
Yeah,
And that's a good way to open up yourself more.
yeah. I thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely.
For those just joining us, we're talking with Christina Corsetti, Haunted Salem, on Paranormal King Radio Network. A question I passed over, actually, and I want to get back. I want to ask this. Back to the history of the Salem witch trials. Them girls that had caused all this trouble, the ones that would act out in court, and anytime they were I guess prosecuting a witch,
Yep.
quote unquote. Whatever happened to them?
The ones that
Yeah, I mean, did they ever publicly apologize? Did they ever get reprimanded?
now the girls, the which girls we talk about?
The ones that would single people out.
Oh, and say these people are witches.
Yes. And then when they would bring them into court, they would act like they were bewitched or whatever as evidence that they were witches.
Okay, all right. I to be honest with you, I'm not too sure. Maybe I'm confused on the question. The in court, the people that were accusing them of being witches.
Yeah, the girls. There was
Well, you have Ann Putnam, and you have Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, all them. Though that they were having these fits, though. You know what I mean? So it wasn't anyone really saying, "Oh, these." You talk about the other people that we're not talking about, like the other, 15 that got hung too, the ones that pointed them out.
No, just there's like 2 or 3 girls, or no,
Yeah,
up to
there's
4 or
the ones
5
that got
actually, if I
pointed
remember
out.
right.
Well,
And one of them one of them did apologize, but the other ones,
no.
that's why I was curious if you knew what happened with the other ones.
Rachel just said in chat right now it was just brushed aside. They never apologized at all. So you only had that one that publicly apologized. The other ones never did.
Oh yeah, okay. Jerry,
All right.
one of them did as an adult. So just one of
Oh,
them, the rest didn't even
I get-
bother.
I
Okay.
get you. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, the girls who got accused, which Rachel is just saying now, got away with accusing innocents.
And they got hanged for it, basically.
Right. That's a lot
Except for
of.
the one that did confess. I mean, that's just beyond imaginable.
What's your favorite thing
But
in metaphysics or spirit science?
do I know metaphysics? What do you mean by spirit science?
Spirit science. Chakras, Reiki, astral travel,
Meditation.
crystals.
Um, well, I don't do that. um, I don't. I mean, I post about those things, but I don't do any of it. I don't.
Well, I was just wondering if you had like a favorite, if any of them grabbed your fancy.
The astral planing does. That's very interesting to me. I was told that my son actually astral planes and that he's a very old soul, and it scares me because you're attached to this cord, the silver cord, and if you get too far astral planing, you could have a problem coming back, and it's scary. You know what I mean? And that I mean, I'm into horror a lot. I love horror. I love horror movies. Insidious. You ever see Insidious?
I have. I'm
That was
curious.
about astral planing. That whole thing. He
Right.
astral planed, and he got too far out, and he got, the devil or whatever kept him locked up in his area. That's all astral planing. I post a lot about it, but I don't. I don't. As far as meditation, I need to learn meditating. Do I meditate? No. Should I? Yes.
Right.
But that's one thing that I need to sit down with Rachel and have Rachel, help me in a lot of these areas that I could use some learning curve, let's say, and learn. And I just need the time to do that and sit down with her.
I tried astral planing once. With my abilities, I grew up with my abilities, and I had the females in the family for a support system.
Okay.
And my grandmother taught me how to astral travel, and I tried it once. I didn't like it.
Really,
I didn't feel safe.
it's like the same thing with controlling dreams. See, maybe that's why that I don't know if I'm doing it because I don't have that. Like I'm not tuned in. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's happening to me. It's just something. It's something that it is interesting, but it's scary. It scares me for some reason. I just the astral plane, and it's just something I have to learn. It's just another aspect of something that you need to learn more of and learn about, pretty much. But I forgot what I was going to say. What was I going to say?
When I was like 4 or 5, I
Mhm.
fell down a flight of stairs, and I had out of body experience. It wasn't astral
Oh.
travel, and it was
Yeah,
just for a few moments.
near
But
death experience.
I was knocked unconscious, and
Were you able to see your body
I could.
outside?
What's that?
Were you able to see your body sitting
Yeah, I
or
was
lying on
actually
the ground?
right. I was
Out of your
knocked
body.
unconscious, and then the next thing I could see or I remember was looking down at my sisters and my mother around me
Yep.
as I was
Yep.
out cold.
Yep. That's
And
the
then-
near-death experience at DE. Yep.
And the next thing I'm back in my body again and
Yep.
off to play. But
Did you feel that rush when you came back in your body?
No. I'll just never forget that though. That I could actually see down on them like that.
A lot of people have near-death experiences actually, and a lot of people, do have accidents where they do come out of their body, and see themselves. It's a very scary thing, and you're sent back in because you weren't ready to go. It wasn't your time, so they send you back in. But it's an experience that will always stick with you. You'll never forget it. You know what I mean? And it's amazing that these things can happen. So, just think about it. If you had a near-death experience and you were looking down at your body, well, what do you think that is? You're a spirit looking down at your physical body. Our spirit never dies. our spirit, I don't know if you believe in reincarnation, but you have like 800 lives. If you go into reincarnation, I have these books, and I do read a lot into it. I do believe in reincarnation, absolutely. I don't believe that when we die, that's it. We have a process that we have to go through, and that process, it is a lot. There's a lot to do with it. I believe you have to go up levels. I believe you have the life book review, where you look at your entire life in the book. I believe all that, and for you to be able to look down at your body, and you know that happened to you, and you know that you're seeing that, then there's something else out there after when we die. You know what I mean? It just doesn't end.
In the Bible somewhere, it says the one thing that God can't do is destroy a spirit.
A soul never dies.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
Just moves on to the next body.
Will
And
and
your agreement is to not remember your last life.
Will and Mel have another question. Could really intense dreams seem that real actually be astroplaning?
Could really intense dreams. Um, I don't think so. I think intense dreams are not astroplaning. No, there's a difference. Yeah.
So.
And intense dreams actually will, on our next show, you will learn about that, actually. But no, I think they're two separate things. Very welcome, Will.
Yes. So, what's your favorite news source?
News source. What I always read is the Salem Evening News. But what do you mean by news source?
No, just that.
Yeah.
It's just a question.
Or my paranormal news.
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking, the paranormal
Well,
news?
It's something we ask actually every guest that comes on. There's a couple questions like your favorite resource. We ask that. It's just one of them. Like every guest has got a different answer.
Yeah, I don't really have a favorite source that I go to for my information. I do a lot of research into what I do, and that's just where it is. I mean, it's not just one place; it's a lot of places. You know what I mean? Try and find the facts. I try and post a lot of facts. I don't like post anything that I haven't researched. So I do a lot, but I don't have any specific place of source. I actually have a lot. So
I know that you're a big fan of horror, so I'm curious. What is your favorite all-time horror movie? If you had to pick one.
Jeepers Creepers. Love it. Jeepers Creepers is my favorite movie. I've seen it 1,000 times.
Yes.
So have I. I know it's one of those things where when I was watching it, I never got tired of watching it.
Yeah, I can watch it over and over and over again. I never stopped. I don't stop. I'll actually rewind it and play it again. I don't know why. I just love that movie. I'm sure that you probably hear Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Silent Hill or stuff like that. But no, Jeepers Creepers, 100%.
So, any future plans for Haunted Salem?
I have lots of future plans. I sit here every day and work on Haunted Salem for my future. I do have major plans. I do plan on producing a lot. I do want to do events, and I do want to host events, and I do want to, have workshops for people where they can come in and learn. I do want to do these things. It's just, it takes time, and time is all I have. Like I said, I've been doing Haunted Salem for 7 years, and I got to the point where I'm growing little by little, and and you get connections as you go, and then you can work on things, and it takes time. But if I could do it overnight or in a week, believe me, I would. But it all revolves around getting the rights to my name before I can move forward, and it's just for some reason I'm having a hard time with that. So if anybody out there knows about this and wants to help me, please message me, because I'm just going in circles. I have to go to Boston. I got to get the money. It's just, factors that factor into it. But I have huge plans for Haunted Salem, huge plans. And even the Horror Channel, collabing with them. They wanted to do documentaries and movies with me.
Nice.
Yeah, they rarely do. And, we're trying to get that kicking. So, there's Haunted Salem's not going anywhere. Facebook can shut me off 100 times. I will still be there. I will keep recreating Haunted Salem. I will keep doing what I do. I'm not going anywhere.
Any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
No, not really.
Do you have any links?
We covered a lot.
Do you have any links you'd like to share?
Any what?
Links?
Link? I don't know any off the top of my head. I know,
Or any
like
pages?
I said,
Facebook pages you add
yeah,
or anything?
off the top of my head, like I said, I have a lot of groups and pages that I'm in. I can post the links on Facebook for everybody. But off the top of my head, I don't have any at the moment that I can remember the links.
Well, thank you very much for being our guest this evening.
Oh, very welcome, and thank you very much for having me.
Yes, it was an honor, and it was an awesome show, and we were so glad we had the chance to have you on.
I appreciate it, really. It means a lot to me, it really does.
And we will have you on again.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us this evening, everyone. Thank everyone in the chat room as well. Shout outs to our resident psychotherapist who's with us, and one of our mediums who joined us this evening as well, as everybody that's always there. And thank you everyone at Paranormal King Radio Network, including Ross Raposo, William Pritchard, Lawrence DeMisa, Matt Stens, and most importantly, to God, who is awesome. Next week we'll be talking about ghost ships and sunken treasures with Captain Robert McDonald from the Ghost Ship Hunters 360. We haven't done ghost ships yet, so this will be really exciting. That's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And coming up next, as everybody knows, is Beyond the Grave Radio with Haunted Salem and Rachel Sawyer.
And if you're in chat and you have not heard her show yet, stick around because it's going to be a great show, as her shows are always awesome.
Yes.
Thank you.
They will be talking about dreams in their meetings. And that's at the top of the hour, next on the Paranormal King Radio Network. Until next time, remember, we aren't human beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
You have been listening to Paraversal Universe, only on the Paranormal King Radio Network, where we have the best guest and host from the four corners of the paranormal world. Join Jennifer and Kevin next week as they discuss another amazing story from the world of the paranormal. Until then, my name is Will Pritchard from Dead Creek Radio and Paranormal King Radio Network. Thanks again for listening to the Paranormal King Radio Network, where the paranormal will never be the same again.